Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we'll be giving our recommendations for 10 games you should play if you love God of War. And yes, we are speaking on if you like the Greek games or the Nordic games, or both. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Devil May Cry 3: Dante's Awakening.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
This is perhaps the most obvious pick. Part of the fun in God of War, particularly the Greek games, is hacking and slashing your enemies into pieces with style and fury and an insanely big combo. Devil May Cry rocks the same attitude, slice and dice foes with your swords, or pepper spray them with pistols to rack up an insane combo. But why Dante's Awakening over the rest of the franchise?
I can already tell.
Well, it's because its narrative has much better pacing compared to the other installments in the franchise. So if you want the same quality combat and story as God of War, Dante's Awakening will certainly meet your expectations.
He sent this invitation for you. Please, accept it.
Ghost of Tsushima. Suppose you're one of those people who plays God of War because of the immersion. You love the set pieces, the expansive world, and finding collectibles, all while enjoying a deep combat system. Many of you might have already played it, but for those who haven't, Ghost of Tsushima will scratch that same itch. Tsushima is loaded with all kinds of side missions and collectibles for you to discover. While there are way more Inari shrines than some of us would like, the rest of the game is incredible in its level design and storytelling. Plus, the director's cut version comes with a fun multiplayer mode in the form of Legends, and an enticing expansion, Iki Island, which sends you to a whole other map to play in. Ryar, the Legendary Adventure. Yeah, we're going back pretty dang far for this one. If you enjoyed how God of War utilized shields in either the Greek or Nordic games, or both, and you crave something of that caliber, Ryar is definitely a must-play. Using a shield called the Disc Armor, you can bash enemies with ferocity and acquire upgrades that let you utilize it in different ways. There's even a grappling hook function you can acquire, and upon finishing the game, you will unlock an assortment of other goofy disc armors similar to Kratos' silly costumes in the Greek games.
Take my disc armor with you, and hurry to Harmonia.
Atlas Fallen.
Atlas was not always the home of wraiths and buried ruins.
Come, up with you. We have to move.
The newest game on our list of recommendations here, Atlas Fallen was widely neglected by the press and gaming community. Seriously, where was the love for this? Developed by Deck 13, the studio behind Lords of the Fallen and The Surge, Atlas Fallen is here for the same reason as Ghost of Tsushima. If you loved the fantastical atmosphere of the Nordic God of War games and how vast they were in scope and detail, you'll find solace with this game. Not only will you find a ton of fun in the game's traversal mechanics, but combat can be just as exhilarating as throwing the Leviathan axe every which way. You'll even get to do battle with massive beasts that match the scale of Kratos' most thrilling fights.
Execute unique combos and build synergies to even the odds and take the fight to Thelos.
Castlevania: Lords of Shadow. It's almost odd to see Castlevania try to borrow God of War's formula. After all, the series was widely known for its 2D action platformer style. Nevertheless, the first Lords of Shadow game turned out to be immensely fun. Admittedly, it isn't a perfect transition from 2D to 3D in terms of gameplay, but for what it does do in combat, exploration, and visuals, as well as the brutal finishing moves, it makes us confident enough to say that God of War fans will find much to appreciate here. You might just want to stick with this one though. Lords of Shadow 2 is, well, we don't talk about that one, so just play this one, nothing else happens afterwards, okay? Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Use your ninja run for the final shot.
You want a combat system fueled entirely by an adrenaline rush? You want bosses that will pummel you into the ground and break your spirit? You want flashy attacks that make a giant mess out of everything? Metal Gear Rising will match the same energy as the older God of War titles. Take control of cyborg ninja Raiden and unleash the fury of his stiletto swords. Really, this game does get ridiculous in the most unexpected ways, more so than the ways Kratos kills off a Cyclops or a Gorgon. So if you need something with that level of insane energy, give the absurdly titled Revengeance a shot. Dantes Inferno. Back in the day, Dantes Inferno got a lot of flack for pulling pages from God of War's playbook, almost beat for beat. An action-adventure game with a deep focus on combat themed around religion and mythology, folks were not thrilled with the slight mimicry at the time. But Dantes Inferno truly is a game that Kratos' fans should check out. Yes, it does bear many similarities to God of War, but the way it makes the gameplay style its own with a different setting and story is what makes it captivating. If what you see in the video is speaking to you, which I really hope it does, it is backwards compatible on Xbox Series XS. Please go give Dantes Inferno a try. This game is sick. Bayonetta.
Do you naughty little angels deserve a good spanking?
The God of War series has long been known for its grueling level of difficulty in some areas. Hell, even the normal difficulty can be a bit much for some. But if you want a combat-heavy game that cranks things up to 20 in speed, scope, and brutality, Bayonetta's got you covered.
You heard the man.
Here, it isn't enough to just wail on enemies, as even the most basic grunts can catch you in a bind and shave off your health. You will need to keep an eye on where every enemy on the field is at and what they are planning to do. Be ready to not only dodge, but counterattack as well. Even on easy or normal difficulty, Bayonetta will test your limits, so know how to make the most of which time, and if you practice, you'll be getting those platinum ranks in no time.
Enzo, someone's given you a present. Hey, too bad. I can't stand bugs.
Darksiders II. Much like Dantes Inferno, many wrote off Darksiders 2 as nothing more than a game trying to ride Kratos' coattails. Was it really, though?
No.
Yes, Darksiders 2 was clearly heavily inspired by God of War's combat, however, that doesn't make it a bad game. Death comes with his own set of toys, such as dual-wielding scythes, hammers, maces, a grappling hook, and his own trusty steed, Despair. The game even has its own approach when it comes to puzzles, some of which involve possessing other characters. Really, don't knock it till you try it.
The Reaper. It's about time you came.
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Stupid! I'm dead, douchebags!
This might be the strangest game to recommend to God of War fans, but trust us when we say, this game is well worth your time. Though much more linear in design compared to the Nordic God of War games, Lollipop Chainsaw is all about racking up a high combo while trying to finish off multiple zombies at once. Doing so can net you a crazy amount of cash, which you can then use to purchase upgrades as well as additional moves. The Ghost of Sparta may not be on the same level of sparkling showers of viscera, but a few minutes with Juliet Starling will have you hooked. Did any of these games grab your attention? Which one do you plan to play before the next God of War? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos and more great recommendations every day.